One of the things we need to do in our political culture is stop normalizing the idea that big campaign donations buy you access. Now, this got back in the news the other day in the context of Mick Mulvaney, who is the budget director for the White House and is also now acting head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which supervises banks. Mick Mulvaney took this concept of legalized corruption, which is what the donation system is, to a new level when he gave a speech to some 3,000 banking executives, and he said, and I quote, we had a hierarchy in my office in Congress, said Mulvaney, quote, if you're a lobbyist who never gave us money, I didn't talk to you. If you're a lobbyist who gave us money, I might talk to you, end quote. People in the Democratic Party and elsewhere were horrified, and rightly so, at this comment, because this reflects the culture of political corruption, exactly the culture that I'm condemning here. But I want you to, and not that I think it's as bad, but I think it lays the groundwork for normalizing this kind of political corruption. I want to raise a sensitive subject, which is that Hillary Clinton, when she was running for president, said something that sounds somewhat similar to what Mick Mulvaney said, and she didn't really get a lot of criticism for it, even though I thought it was striking. Now, she was asked by a member of the editorial board of the Philadelphia Inquirer for examples of a time when a political donor had asked her to do something and she refused. This was her. This is a recording of her reply.
I've gotten so many donations over so many years that I'm very grateful for. People have been supporting me in my political life since 1999, and I can't tell you, specific examples, because there have been many where people have said, would I look into this? I always say I will look into something, but I always tell people there's no guarantee if I look into something that you're going to like my answer, and that's been my practice.
Now, here's what I want to say about this excerpt. First of all, I believe that Hillary Clinton believes she is acting ethically and that she is describing ethical behavior, because she says she will always listen to what a big donor has to say, but she will not promise that they will like the conclusion she draws. What I think she misses, and so much of the people inside our political culture miss, is that just the act of listening is enormously valuable. It is something that is being traded for money. Now, a working person who's been screwed by their employer for changing shifts at the last minute at the fast food restaurant, they're not, and I'm not singling out Hillary Clinton, most people in our political culture are not going to give that person a listen. But the billionaire who gives generously to the party and to the candidate and was unhappy about something that might be done to the carried interest loophole in taxes, for example, they're going to get a listen. Now, they may not, if the politician is ethical within this political culture, they may not get the answer they like. But the fact that they're being heard distorts, the fact that they're the only ones primarily being heard, distorts the perception of our political leaders in ways that I think are deeply corrosive. So what's the conclusion out of all of this? First of all, Mick Mulvaney took it to a new level because he was shaking down thousands of bank executives at one time. So that is a new level of genuine corruption. But it also tells me that the era of the big party donors dominating the Democratic Party has to come to an end, because that party will never have the insights or the input it needs as long as it's utterly dependent on big donors, as long as it trades access for cash. Even if party leaders think they're doing the right thing, it is a corrosive political process, and it must stop.